Alright, so welcome back to the second in my ongoing series of GM prep videos that I'm going to use for posterity and trying to unravel where it all went horribly wrong. We left off in the rather awkward spot of not having chosen a job for the next session, but the job's going to come up fairly early. We finished downtime, entanglements, etc., but did not get to the free play choosing a job portion. So the last session, I think, went overall pretty well. I was concerned that the job was not going to take long enough, and if anything, it took too long. My biggest criticism of it felt like a lot of the same tests repeatedly. That said, the players seemed pretty engaged with it. And the twist of throwing in one of the character's rivals was interesting. It got their attention, so I want to keep that up. I do want to note that, let's see, Cult of the Seekers. We've got one job down. If they do another job for the Cult of the Seekers, they will gain +1 with them. I don't think there are any other changes here. I should probably mark one here for the 51st Legion. If they do another, they'll lose. Against 51st Legion, they'll lose standing with them. Should put in something for progress on what Alban does. Let's say he gets demoted and he's out for revenge. So next time he shows up, he'll either be with the 51st Legion or on his own, which sort of frees me up to use him kind of however I want. Well, I could say he's demoted or discharged, and I'll figure out which as the need to use him strikes. I figure I don't need to be slow and subtle in building it up. It's like when he comes in, he's going to be pissed as all hell and he's going to be out for blood. But I think he needs to simmer a bit on the back burner so we can kind of forget him and then remember him, and it's always fun callback. Lets him feel like the world's moving. I don't know that we need to make any changes with anything else. Sacred Flame still wants answers in the background. That's still true. Yeah, I think that we're fine to leave that. I don't need to make any major moves with the factions here, because it was just one little job. I think the Seekers are going to move base soon. I think after their next mission, the Seekers will have relocated somewhere else. It'll sort of, if they want to stay involved with them, it'll prompt them to move around more. I also want to see if I can have a job in a different system just to get them comfortable with the idea of getting away from Warren and the Rin system entirely, just so they're comfortable with that idea of, oh, we've got this whole sector and we can move around, not just hang around in this one spot. I'm worried that Tyrion's player will see that as an impediment to his long-term project, but I don't think it is. I think nobles are pretty free to move around, so you might see him at a party somewhere else, but I'll smooth that over when it comes to it. I just don't want them to feel tied down. So last time I had decided that the upcoming jobs were the Seekers would send them on an artifact hunt if they wanted to do that, and that'll be their first option there. If they pass on that, Alice from Conclave 01 is going to send them on a job to kidnap Anna back. I don't know how they would feel about that one, but it's one of those interesting, it'll prompt some interesting discussions. I don't think I want to front load what the job offers are. I want them to, have to go talk to them and see if they're actually interested. And then if they pass on both of those, their consolation prize is that deep space kidnap job that I was thinking of. And I suppose that's the least likely to happen. I think they will bite on one of those two. Either they're interested in continuing with the Seekers, or they feel like their involvement with the Seekers was a mistake and they want to sort of backpedal and maybe do something different with Anna. I feel like they're interested in that. But if they're not, I want to have an out as well so that they can go explore other options. So I have to put some serious thought into at least the artifact hunt job. Probably the kidnap job is probably the easiest to improvise. And the deep space extraction mission for the Maelstrom, that I should probably have something statted out just so that I've got a fallback plan. I was thinking there are a couple elements that I want to work into these. Our pilot has not had the chance to fly his ship yet, and I want to make sure he gets a chance to do that, but I'm not sure of a good way to force that in. My thought is, with the relic hunt, it can be a two-parter where they get the relic and it's short and quick. Like they overcome a few obstacles and then they have to... I'm not sure how to do this one. I'm kind of wondering. But like two-parter where they get the relic and then they are pursued by somebody. So, what to do there? Okay, so let's just start statting some of this stuff out, I guess. So relic hunt, two-parter. Part one's the recovering the relic itself. So I was thinking that would be they'd go to the night side of Sonhanda in the Holt system. Yeah, I can't spell. Fake names. And let's say it's in... The relic location is in a cave that was obscured in the side of a cliff face, so it wouldn't have been easily found from orbital scans or imaging, especially with it being on the night side. Winding path leads down to a cavern with a massive triangular door. And it's made of, let's say it's made of a sort of stone, what I want to do is I don't want to get in that situation where the characters want to try and pry everything out, try to bust up the scenery because it's valuable, but I want it to be cool. So maybe it's a triangular door made out of like a smooth, seamless stone. And when the light catches it just right, it looks as if circuits are laid into its entire surface. A pattern like that. Just I can't type tonight. Can't do anything. All right, so opening would be the first check, and that's the first obstacle. And what I guess if it's risky, I could use way creatures as a way to up the danger level, create a sense of urgency that is not normally found in something like this. And maybe I can do the two racing clock things of progress and alarm. So it's like the way creatures, call that 4 o'clock. Awaken, and a 4 o'clock for Ben Sesame. And then inside, I think it's going to be something where whatever its effects are, it's not immediately obvious, and they would have to study it as a long-term project to figure out what it does, assuming they don't just hand it over. I think it might make it interesting to say that it's an 8-credit job, so it's not overwhelmingly in favor of persuading them to hand it over. Like there might even be some, well, hold on now. We actually gonna do this? We actually gonna hand it over? Maybe we keep it for ourselves. And of course it's gonna be the old attune check to pick it up. It's interesting that the rulebook calls out for attune checks to safely handle artifacts, specifically. When it says for most things, it's like, well, you can do whatever you want, use whatever skill you want, provided you can justify it. But for this, you gotta attune. That's fine. That gives our mystic a niche to fill. And when he gets hurt doing that, it gives our doctor something to do. And then, so once that's done, they've got the artifact. They race back to their ship with the way creatures nipping at their heels, and Jesus Christ. Let's say, so they get waylaid by somebody. I'm thinking of using, since this is going to be a chance for our pilot to shine, I can also tie it in with Choss, the pro racer, who has been hired as a merc pilot. For whom? The obvious answer is the Church of the Sacred Flame has farmed work out to mercenaries to recover the relic from the crew. Because they got the location as well from the interrogation of the nerd who I can't remember the name of. Giles. Yeah. So maybe I should look up who are the Sacred Flames allies? Allies are Drinyak Gang and the Maelstrom. Dyranek. Is that Dyranek? I guess it's Dyranek. I don't know. We could just treat them as... I don't feel the need to entangle any more factions in this. And the Maelstrom is... Yeah. We can just say it's a merc crew. And... Let's see. So it'll be Choss plus Merc Crew. Do I need to name them? Maybe. I think Choss can just be the mouthpiece. You can just refer to him and his boys. And there's, you know, nefarious chuckling in the background. I don't need to complicate this interaction any. They'll threaten, and if they don't get anywhere, give chase. So I think technically what I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to look at the systems of the ship, compare them to the systems of the antagonist ship, and see if they match in scale and potency. And I think we'll just say it's a fast pursuit vessel, so something similar to the Cerberus. So it feels like an even fight. And Choss is an excellent pilot as well, otherwise he wouldn't be a rival for Pax. So I think even with that pilot ability that gives them potency on speed-related rolls, they're going to have equal potency. So it'll set most the challenge in effect as risky normal. But yeah. Yeah, we'll just say this is all equal potency. And yeah, when they manage to shake the tail there, they will get free. Well, I should say they've got particle cannons, so that there's a genuine threat to not shaking them off. And I figure it's wide open how they try to shake them off. Let's see. I should look up some. Yeah, no. No notes about like asteroid belts or any of that. That's fine. I assume I will let the players decide what vector they want to choose for that. It's like, oh, if we want to fly low to the ground and lose them in a canyon, well, there's you find a canyon on your scopes, that sort of thing. And then the roll decides whether or not they succeed, not circumstances like that. They're gonna be able to try out whatever they want to try out. So I think that's that job. I think the kidnap Anna job against the Seekers is much more straightforward. Just make it an 8 cred. I think all these jobs are going to be 8 cred when it comes out in the wash. Something fairly standard, simple. Not terribly dangerous. Like, I don't see the reason to crank up difficulty. They had more of a payday on the last one because they sort of put off what they did with Anna. I'm wondering if our boys will find something. Like, should I consider what if they want to stay and look around? Maybe there's a minor relic if they really root around that place, like do a study check with maybe desperate circumstances for the way creatures catch on to them. I should also look up some advice in the book on how to handle way creatures because I haven't really looked into that, so I will need to do that. So chance to find another minor artifact, let's say. So, kidnapping Anna. This one's pretty straightforward in setup because they sort of have the lay of the land on the Seeker's current base. And they've sort of got an in there. I think this job, by its nature, should be easy because they're planting the knife in the back of the Seekers if they do it. So it seems like it's fairly simple. Like, getting to Anna is their first obstacle. And then they have, 4 o'clock for suspicion. And 6 o'clock for... just call it 4 o'clock for extracting. And they don't... This is going to be fairly simple in terms of setup and how it plays out. It'll be very fast and easy if they do it. And I think the real action is not in the doing of the job, it's in the fallout from the job and burned bridges there. So that would be like they lose their current progress with the Seekers and their current +1 favor level with them. Like, they're burned with the Seekers. I think, I should also mark one job against Sacred Flame as well, because they're learning about the crew here too, because they would have been told what happened by Alban, because he was interrogating for them, and that's how they got the relics location. I'm going to say the relic hunt, it's an 8 credit job, but they could negotiate it up. I think both of these they can negotiate up if they have like sufficient leverage. I think that's just reasonable in general. If they have leverage, they can negotiate the rate up. And then they can threaten to walk if they don't get what they want, and they can walk. That's an option for them. Let's see. So the last one, the deep pocket job here, the job of last resort. So deep space kidnap. This is for Maelstrom. And say rogue captain. And they will have to do it in deep space. In, let's say, not the Holt system, it's the other one, Iota. Yeah. Yep. He got burned, he fucked off to Iota, and he's doing his own thing there independently. And making a bad name for the Maelstrom, so the Banshee wants him brought back so she can make an example of him. So they will need to get on the ship. Or actually, maybe this is a chance to make it about finding the ship. I just don't feel like there's a lot of interesting angles with, like, tracking. Like, they could say, oh, we need to track it down, let's talk to our Xeno tracking buddy, and that gives us +1 on the engagement roll. Yeah, so I'm not going to do... Yeah, so we're going to cut straight to get on the ship. That's the first obstacle. And then... So how do we make it... I don't know their approach either. Like with... I'm sure with the kidnapping Anna job, they're going to go with a social approach. Since that's an obvious advantage. Like... huge bonus on engagement roll there. And with the relic hunt, there's limited options. I think the game sort of forces them into a specific... Now I gotta go to the index. Look up engagement roll. 150. If this were good TV, I'd be doing this in the PDF, but this ain't good TV. So what are their options? Assault, Deception, Infiltration, Mystic, Social, and Transport. So for that, they'd either, I think they'd choose Infiltration or Mystic. Because there's no social angle, there's no social angle, transport, deception. You know, there really isn't anything there. And for this one, they could go a wide range. They will probably try to do something tricksy. So what's our captain's name? Let's say Barstrom. Marstrom from the Maelstrom? No. Captain Fuchsia Beard. I mean, he is a pirate. I should just... I hate names. I hate names so much. Hilden. Captain Hilden. Captain Rex Hilden. Say he's a super, like this, this square-jawed, Adonis of a man. And, I think if they went with this one rather than one of the other ones, I think Choss would show up here too. And so maybe, depending on what their approach is, Choss can give them a run for their money. Like, they gotta chase it down. Let's say not get on ship, approach ship. That's our initial goal. Can't type tonight. Brain is mush. Okay, yeah, so that's my 3 jobs. I think after their downtime's done, they're going to get the call from the Seekers. They're also going to have a message from Anna asking urgently for them to contact her. And if they don't like either of those, they can talk to a fixer or somebody, and that will set them up with the 3rd job. From there, I think downtime's pretty straightforward once they get through that, and I don't need to think too far ahead on those, because I doubt we would get through all the way through to finding another job. I'm pretty confident in that based on our rate of play, and I can always just make some shit up. And I can always fall back on one of these other jobs here, because Alice will still be after Anna, and there's still going to be opportunity for a side gig. I think if they go with this Seeker job, the Seekers aren't going to have something for them right away. They're going to say, okay, we need more time. And then they can pursue their own agenda. And I think they will actually end up relocating after. Yeah, they will relocate after delivery to a different system, different planet, as attention from the Cult of the Seekers heats up. I wondered, do I want to introduce them as an antagonist here directly, or let them simmer in the background a little more? And I think there isn't an organic way to introduce them on any of these missions. But the next one, either for the Seekers or if I'm looking for some entanglement, if they did this relic hunt mission after they shake off Choss and his crew, the Sacred Flame will have our boys narrowed down. They'll have them ID'd and be out to hunt him down and stop them. So they would be an obvious entanglement, or yeah, complication. But I think I'm okay with them being in the background for now. For the characters, am I concerned about letting them realize all their hopes and dreams? I feel like Tyrion has gotten enough spotlight. Especially with that last mission. And if there's a way to nudge him into a more supporting role, I think any of these jobs would sort of do that. But I'll let the players sort of figure that out for themselves. There isn't an obvious face hook on any of these, I don't think. Certainly not the critical path job here of the relic hunt. I want to give Pax a chance to fly, so I've got 2 of our jobs with an opportunity to do that. I want to give Emmett a chance to doctor. There really hasn't been a good way to work that in, so I think whatever the next mission is, I'm gonna have to shoehorn something like that in. I feel like Lyndon's in a good spot. He's gotten a chance to contribute sort of every step of the way without taking the spotlight entirely. The relic hunt will give him more of a chance to shine if they do that, but if they don't, that's fine. And he's got an interesting long-term project he's working on. I want to nudge Pax and Emmett in that direction as well. Have a long-term project. You don't have to work on it every time, but it gives your characters something to work towards, and it gives me little hooks to throw at you. And it also gives me an idea of what the players want for their characters out of the game. It's cheating. Notes. So yeah, that's my long-term thinking on those. All right. Well, hopefully it all goes well. I can't put it off any longer because it's tomorrow. Wish me luck.